It's just absolutely wet and pouring and cold and everything bad. But welcome to episode 3 of Hookahs and Hottubs. I am Admiral Alphonse, your usual host. Let me go ahead and get the hookah started for everybody. And by everybody, I literally mean just me, because you guys can't hear this virtually. Sorry. How's the sound coming through? Can you guys hear me over the pouring rain on the roof above me? It is loud out here. The rain is really coming down. I'm hoping it's not going to be too awful for everybody. Well, that's good. Look at how good the natural lime White Claws are. Yeah, I've got this really awful roof over my hot tub that does its job to a certain extent, but when it starts really raining, man, it is absolutely full of holes. And I get rained on a little bit, so I want to make sure I share everything before I started the video, because I don't want to bring my laptop out here, because there's just no really good dry place to set it. All of my surfaces are currently puddled. So, yeah. Hey guys, hi Beth, hi Patrick, hi Bobby. Glad you guys all made it so far. Get that hookah started. Dulcet tones. That's a great way to put it, Beth. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, let's go ahead and start these things up. Some interesting developments this week. I officially uploaded the first 2 episodes, not only on YouTube to watch, which you can find from my profile, but they're now on Spotify's podcast, which is a humorous development. I don't know if anybody's ever going to want to listen to this as a podcast, but I mean, to be honest, I feel like it's more likely to expect people to listen to this as a podcast, because you can just put it on in the background and you can do something else while you're driving, or something if you want to hear me talk to someone you like for an hour, rather than watching us. Like, watching is a bit more dedicated to activity, I think. So, yeah. So yeah, I went there, did some editing, got things ready for YouTube videos, and 2 episodes of the podcast are now up. It's funny to say that Hookah and Hottubs is officially a podcast. I was working on a cheap logo for it and realized it's not my forte by any means, so I gave up on that. Tonight the hookah is Dolce and Habana, which is, I'm not sure it's entirely flavor, but it's the type is Cuban dark leaf hookah shisha, which is delightful, to be honest. How's that going? It's a little cold. Does that worry I pull the coals off too fast in a rush to start things up? Let's really get going. An interesting issue of timing, trying to get the coals to be as perfectly ready as possible at exactly 9 p.m. I've just about got down to the science. I'm not quite there yet, but yeah. So yeah, I feel good. Like it's a silly sort of thing, like to have, this be a podcast. It's an interesting format, but it makes me chuckle if nothing else. So hey, if any 1 or 2 people out there end up enjoying it enjoying the Hookahs and Hottubs podcast, it's something. It makes me laugh, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But either way, I'm standing here for a little longer, just chill out. Waiting for our guest tonight, Kylea, to show up. I shared this to my page and to the Port Nassau page. Let me just make sure. My dream, now that I'm making money at a decent job again, is to buy a nice laptop I can do all this from. So I'm not doing it with my cell phone. It's doing anything streaming-wise, like from your cell phone. It's the absolute, like... I mean, it's really cool that we're in 2020 and our cell phones are powerful to do this for all of us. Oh, hey, Kylie. Sorry. It's cool our cell phones can do this, but it's not going to be optimal by any means. Like, let's just go ahead and admit that. Like, cell phone's never going to be the best way to do this, but hey, I've got a nice cell phone that allows us to do this, so I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah. So I've kind of caught you guys up on all the base stuff in my life, so let's go ahead and just move on to our guest tonight. Now that I have been reminded she is sitting in the audience waiting for me. There's still little, you guys, I don't know if you guys can see up in the corner, little icons tell me who's in the room. So if I hadn't seen your icon yet, I wasn't sure. It's not, as we've learned in the past weeks, it takes a minute for it. Even if you're watching, for Facebook notifying me that you're there and blah, blah, blah. It's all circles. But, alright. So, yeah, like I was saying, my guest tonight is the voice, more the soul behind Rouge Wanderlust, who is our current defender of Nassau, and I've been talking about how it's funny you were the reigning, you have like the world record for the longest ever defender of Nassau, or champion, or dog, whatever that title used to be, because of the pandemic. So that's an interesting situation. I think you said you were the captain of the Crimson Corsair. I forgot to write notes down because, again, everything out here is soggy and I can't have paper with me. So correct me to get on if I'm butchering any of your information. But importantly, she says that she's on here tonight to introduce us to her new persona, Jasper. So I'm interested in hearing how that goes. So without further ado, let me go ahead and click the button and see if I can bring Kylea on. Join. Loading. Hey.
Hi.
Hi, lovely. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. My volume up. Man, like I said, the rain is just making it miserable out here.
I figured since I don't have a hot tub to get into, I would look fancy for you.
That's fine, yeah. Someday it'll be a situation where everybody, all my guests have their own hot tubs, or all my guests will be in the hot tub. Either which way, we'll figure it out. It'll happen someday.
Yeah, someday.
So did I get that right, Captain of the Crimson Corsair? Is that correct?
Yep. That's
fantastic.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Even without notes, I got it right, huh?
Yeah, that's who we are. That's my. Really, it's the first ship I'm captaining. So. It is. Yeah, I was like much from the edge, and then I've just been floating since then. So now the Corsair is my ship brainchild, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about how much of a off season we have. I mean, there's lots of time to build things and get them ready for when the return happens, and it will happen. It's just we don't know when yet. But tons and tons of prep time.
Yeah, lots of time for building and planning and plotting.
So speaking of plotting,
I have this cup
I did want to ask. So again,
it's just pure vodka.
You are the. Oh, hey! Before we start, cheers.
It was easier. Oh yeah, there we go. Peer pressure. Cheers.
There we go. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm good. I don't need the lemon yet.
Oh, nice. What
I like
tonight?
I'll show you. I have this little tray next to me of my little lemons with sugar, and it's just literally a cup of vodka, and then I have some water in the background there.
You are a brave lady. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a drink. I'm drinking White Claws because I'm far less brave.
Yeah.
But yes. So again, speaking of plotting, I did want to ask. So like I said, you have held the title of Defender of Nassau longer than anyone ever has, and likely ever will because of Corona. Yeah. Does that mean Corona was all just a plot of yours? Yeah. Did you?
Hello. I mean, shenanigans galore, of course. I was playing the long game here, guys. Yeah, no.
Greatest pirate shenanigans ever.
That's the worst pirate shenanigan ever. That would be the worst. Getting the events canceled for a season, possibly two, would be like the worst thing ever. Hi. I love that you can like see the little. Yeah, I'm not nervous at all.
It is awful. What's that?
I'm not nervous at all.
No, that's what the drinks are for. That's the secret I've learned all these years.
Drink more of that.
Your drink's going to kill you, though. That's straight vodka.
No, I mean, it's not. Yeah, okay. I mean, I lived in Russia. What do you expect?
All right, okay. You know what you're doing.
Yeah. Sometimes.
But yeah, no, I mean, me and Andros were kind of talking about it last year. It's a lot of us were kind of, I won't say like ominously, but kind of like hoping for a bit of a down year last season. Like I took a step down from captain of the Felines. A lot of us kind of needed a bit of a soft year, and we got the most like absolute void that none of us. I didn't want this at all. I wanted a light year, not absolutely nothing for a year or two, and so it's been weird. Like, we can do lots of planning.
Yeah, and I mean, you can plan and plan and plan and plan and plan, but how you can't enjoy it until you can put it into action. And even now, it's like you can't even do like ships camping yet, which sucks.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely weird to know that we're all holding a space, like you said, holding the Defender of Nassau title for however long, however long. It's not, I don't think of it so much as like holding it for 2 or 3 years. I think of it more just like we have this stopgap in the existence of everything happening in our wonderful world of pirates. And so it's like there's just this moment in time that's going to skip and not really exist. I mean, we all live in different years at events anyway. So it's kind of like we just have, what is it, a gap in the space-time continuum?
Yeah. Like I said, especially it's one of those titles that's definitely more fun to use while there's events going on. So I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it's not doing you any good during off season, but it's it kind of has that feeling like we put so much more fun use for shenanigans during pirate events rather than the planning pieces. So yeah, fun stuff. Yeah. Years down the road, that will be a fun fact, and you can still say is I was Defender of Nassau for 2.5 years.
Yeah, I get to say I get the fun to be like I was first Defender, and I broke the system because then I did it for 2.5 years. No, I'm just kidding. I won so hard, no one could win after me.
Yeah.
Falsities. Yeah. No. I'm looking forward to passing it off and seeing who comes next, and it is kind of a bummer to like lose that momentum, so to speak, because there's a lot that was planned kind of to do in the nation, and that all gone by the wind, which hopefully we can pick it back up when
there was big changes in the works, like everything was moving all of a sudden, and then it's ground to a halt.
Yeah. So we'll all just come back bigger, better, and more like creatively powered and charged.
There you go.
And maybe with the break there will be less of the drama llama stress factor of all of that. I'm hopeful that like people that return are the ones that are really dedicated, are really there for the engagement in the games and the people and the social frivolity.
Well, I think I'll give everybody new appreciation for all the aspects of it. I mean, just the events, just the games behind everything. Everybody will miss it so much. They come back, they'll just be so eager just to. Me and Andrew were talking last week. They're not sure that the first major event's gonna need anything planned for. Everybody's gonna just want to be around each other for a couple of consecutive days. We don't need to work really hard to make the event exciting. Like the anticipation is gonna make the event so good.
Yeah, I do hope that when we get to return, that it's like just us all getting to see each other and hang out, and that pressure to go big or go home isn't as much there, because we are all so desperately in need of that piratical interaction that I just want everybody to be there and like have a good time and not be all like, my ship isn't perfect. Like, don't be worried about it. It's been 2 years, we're rusty. Yeah.
Show up.
Port that waits for 2 years would be rusted by the time she sailed again. So I mean. Right.
I don't care if you're even in guard by the time you came back. I mean, I've been building up guard like crazy because I have nothing else to do. So I'm entirely used to the guard by the time I come back. But just everybody just show up, just be around each other. It's gonna be so great.
Cat.
So Christmassy.
My cat is under my Christmas tree destroying things, I'm sure. I hear him under there.
I'm so glad my cat has not been awful with my tree. Like he nuzzled it a little more than I'd like him to, but he's not actually gone for it yet, which is great.
Yeah, I really dove into the holiday spirit this year. I don't normally get as Christmassy, but I needed some cheer. I went really, you can see in my little shelves back here, I put up my little keg.
Nice.
And I have there was a horn, but I moved it to drink. As appropriate.
Is that just kind of because things have been everybody just needs a little pickup?
Yeah, I just needed some cheer. Like, I've been working from home, and that's fine, but it's a drag. There's no, I miss people.
Yeah.
We have the people.
Well, congrats on the promotion, by the way. I saw that post a week or two ago.
It's not quite a promotion yet, but it's a promotion in my capacity and my proof of intelligence, I guess. I have a handy little pass ticket, so
that's good. Yes, it's a.
Soon, hopefully, I have
my step forward, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Now I really can say that I work customs, which is completely era appropriate.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just finished wrapping my Christmas presents today, so my place finally looks holiday-ish, 5 days before Christmas are we now? Where are we?
No, something whatever. 6. You got 6. It's a week. You're fine. Nobody cares.
It's fine. Yeah.
Everybody's at their own level of existence all the time.
Right.
Why should it be different? It's been, good to see that you're enjoying your life, though. You've got a good roommate and all of that, which is good.
I do. My roommate is delightful. Things are looking up for me, which is nice. Better job. Living situation's been pretty good. I'm making more money now, so everything is. I currently don't have any complaints about life, but yeah, no. Beth definitely knows about the need to get spirited for the season. Her place. She's gone full on Christmas as well.
I love it. Yeah, I embrace it. A lot of changes this year. I'm moving actually to Portland at the end of January.
Oh, are you? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so I'll be closer to a lot of our pirate family, which is a little exciting.
Yeah.
It's my other big news.
What's exciting? Well,
yeah.
For that, I'm glad to hear that. I love Portland. Both my current partners are down there.
The new port to home and yeah.
I'm looking forward to that new change for you. That'll be good.
Yeah. That's right. I'm moving to Portland.
Patrick's excited for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the Tacoma area, but I certainly, the felines are mostly all up here, but I do love the amount of pirate communities down in the Portland area. There's a lot of us down there, so it's great.
Farther from family, but closer to pirate family, so it'll be.
That's fair. Yeah. The rain is finally kind of letting up. Thank goodness. I saw in the news that areas of Portland have flood warnings today. It's apparently nuts down there. Speaking of Portland,
I looked up the almanac yesterday because I was desperate for snow, and we're not looking forward to any shortly. But it said that Portland is, and I was like, can I have that?
Once restrictions lift, go visit, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm desperately looking forward to just going back to being able to have 4 people over in my house.
Yeah.
That's all I want right now.
Yeah, I definitely think that once there is the possibility of, smallish groups, that it'll be good to start slowly reincorporating people back into our lives. And especially now with the vaccine being available, which is, really exciting. I have friends in the medical field. We all do have friends in the medical field, and they're getting it.
Yeah.
I know ones that already have gotten the first dose, and they're doing great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for my chance. As soon as I'm allowed to, I will be lined up to go get the damn thing, because I will take anything right now just to get the world back to better.
Yeah.
If it knocks me out for a week, that's a week that I can deal with. To go back to another year or 2 of this.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we're supposed to talk about pirates or something. I was thinking about a funny story earlier about you, because
a good story about me.
Oh yeah, about you and I when we were driving down to Grimsby, and
yes,
you were like,
go on.
I want you to listen to this song.
Little did you know that song would change your life as you
It
know
would
it.
change my life. It would change my whole existence. And there it was. Oh my God.
Remember how I told you, like it's like kind of rap, kind of country, and you were kind of like, okay, whatever.
All right, we'll see what happens. I lived in Ellensburg, and lo and behold, Old Town Road with Billy Cyrus, and I was like, "What is this?" And we listened to that song on repeat for like an hour.
We use it as a measure of time.
We knew we were like, okay, another 3.5 minutes has passed. We knew every word by the time we got to the end, and then that epic dance, and it was all your fault.
Yeah, we rolled up to Grimsby with the windows down, singing Old Town Road by the time we got there. People looked at us like we were crazy.
Yeah, we rolled up to gate with it bumping, and they were like, "What?"
and then you must have shared it with Danny, and then
yes,
magic happened by the time next Hookah came around.
Somehow, I mean, you might have shared it with Danny, but one way or another, it came to light that Danny and I both knew of it, and I was like, we have to do a dance to the song, or somehow it came. We both wanted to, and love.
Yeah. Oh, that Grimsby was so good.
It was, and then I won Ultimate Patron. Yay!
Yeah. Which paved the way for Defender of Nassau. I like to think.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie that Ultimate Patron was not easy. I had never been to Grimsby, so that was my first time there, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the games were like, and so that was not an easy win at all.
Yeah.
Especially because Frayed Not
Sure.
everybody was just beastie, and but I definitely was like, this is excellent practice because I did Dog of the Sea the year that this is last year's Grimsby. Beth.
Last one that happened, Beth. Yeah.
Last one. Yeah. Because I had done Dog of the Sea against Peacock and lost. And then I was like, never again shall I lose. And so then when I decided to do the Ultimate Patron competition, there I was. And we had that tiny shed, and you and me pulled the bunk
out of it. Yeah. Well, it's so funny because those who don't know the story of that, so we rolled up at the
middle of the night,
11 o'clock, midnight or something like that, super late at night.
Oh yeah, it was.
And you had purchased like the ultimate gaming package from Percy's Language, which included a private cabin.
Percy.
So we roll up and yeah.
We pull up and it's
so we roll up and we're like, show us to the private cabin and
it was
tell us what that was like. Yeah.
It was very private and it was so far back and it was like 20 feet from Percy's cabin, which was hilarious. And we had no heat and no lights, which was even more hilarious. We did have power though, so I think I just used fairy lights that had battery packs.
Yeah, I believe so.
Or we must have had power because we blew the bed up. But we took out it was like a half of a small bedroom in a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Seattle. And we pull out one twin bed, bunk bed, and there's still one in there for our stuff, and it was good.
Yeah.
Time.
No,
yeah.
I blew the air mattress up at the main hall and carried it out to the shed.
Oh my God, that's right.
I say shed lovingly, but I've had like household like backyard sheds bigger than that.
Totally blew it up and then carried it out. I forgot. Oh, that was such a whirlwind of a weekend. And then after that, it was like, no sleep till winning. Anytime anybody ever goes for a competition at a pirate event, be prepared not to sleep for 3 days. And when you do, you hurt. And it's good hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen nearly everybody who's ever taken on a big challenge like Dog of the Sea, Defender of Nassau, Ultimate Patron, or whatever at Grimsby. It is a weekend thing where you have to dedicate yourself to it the entire damn time.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so different too. Every competition is so different. Like the Defender of Nassau, or what was Dog of the Sea, and Ultimate Patron were similar in the sense that you're playing a lot of games and you're collecting votes and things like that. But like if you do King and Queen, that's totally different because you're doing the party and you're like engaging the people, and then you're also going for the vote. Although now that will be completely different, supposedly. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows when we return? Who
knows what shakeups are yet to come?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see what the games are going to look like when we come back. I mean, it's like I said, like I feel like there was getting a little bit of a pressure towards the end there to keep changing games up and stuff because there was I hate to say it, but there's kind of a bit of a stagnation where we've been doing the same thing for so long. But now I think people just want just literally anything because we miss it so much. I think it's the pressure on really having really creative, engaging games isn't going to be as strong because we just want to be there and do anything. Like everything's going to seem new and exciting, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I instantly think of like parties sitting on the, well, I know it's the sunken Norwegian, but the drunken Norwegian late at night, and like,
Yes.
and they do a lot of entertaining things, but also things will just randomly happen, spur of the moment. There's that inspiration of just sitting in a group of rowdy people having a good time, and it happens, and it's so delightful, and that's, I mean, we're all craving that something fierce. I think even you could, they're missing it too. Even like the small ones, like even the kids are chomping at the bit. They're like, oh, I made like my small misses it terribly. That's their like, this is my time to be free. But it's the same for the adults that I know. This is my time to be free. Yeah.
I mean, it's hurting everybody. I mean, the adults, the old timers, the people who just got started. I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, the last year was their first year, and they got introduced to things, and now it's gone, and that's rough.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, hell, this was gonna be my 5th year, I think, and we still am like, but it's not enough. I haven't had enough. No, I need
that. This would have been my 10th year of everything.
Oh, man. Yeah. What an anniversary.
Right? Shitty fucking anniversary, right?
Like,
see, Bjorn was saying last year was his first, and it takes just 1 year sometimes to hook you so fucking deep, and then you're like, okay, now that I know what it's like, let me plan what I'm gonna really do now that I know what it's like, and to not get that chance, that's kicking the pants.
Well, it's such a black hole. Like if it's your soul, it really takes you. Like I came for my first year and I went to 1 event, and then suddenly I'd gone to 6 events in a year. And then ever since then, I've gone to like 8 to 10 events a year. Basically whatever has been available and that I've seen, I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And
it hooks you hard.
Because why not? Yeah. I mean, meet all the people, play all the games, have all the fun. We'll get there again. We'll get there again.
It absolutely will. I believe things will return to a I'm not gonna say normalcy because I don't know what that means anymore, but some things will come back.
It'll be a whole new normal, which I think will be a good thing. I just, and now people are more set in their boundaries too, and the way that they operate, and knowing their limitations and stuff, because we have all been trapped in our own heads for almost a year. It's been 9 months, and we've all been so it's like, I'm like, what are you saying down there? Whatever.
I thought that was the origin story for your persona.
Oh, okay. Which one?
Ooh.
Okay, this is a good way for me to announce my new persona, because.
So we're gonna start talking about persona, right? So do you want to talk about Rouge? Do you want to talk about Jasper?
I'll give you a brief background because they're intertwined. So, as I've hinted at in other talks and to people like for the last year, I am offing Rouge. Well, I'm offing Rouge. I'm getting rid of her for a while. Because I'm tired of the accent. I have nothing against it, but it gets exhausting. Like right now, this is my real voice, which by now a lot of people have heard, but for the first couple of years, that was all I ever did around anybody. And it is a lot to have to put that on. Although I'm just transitioning into a new accent, and I'm going to be Jasper, which is actually going to be I'm actually going to be Rouge's twin, because how else do you do when it's someone who's won a tournament?
All right.
So the backstory of both is actually that Rouge, well, I'll tell this one. But see, now I really want to just do the Irish accent because that's what I'm going to be going with. So this is actually Jasper's accent, but I was going to tell it in Rouge, but I don't even know how. Okay, if I was British, it would sound something like this. Okay, so this is Rouge. Yeah, obviously. Everybody's like, duh. So my dad was a merchant I feel like I've told this story like a million times, but I will tell it a million more because I love it.
Yeah.
I've spent so much time on it. So my dad was a merchant. Well, first he was like a sailor, you know, and he was transporting goods above board. And then there was some janky things that went down with the government and taxation, because when isn't there? And so he started running numbers a bit differently and transferring loads in a different way. And he eventually got caught up by the British government. That's a polite way to say it. But before that happened, when he was out running his loads, he met my mum, who was a siren. Long story. He wound up trapping her. Long story. They wound up on a bitty island that we now know as Ireland, and there he had a lovely bouncing child, and that child was not me. It was my sister. And then from there, some shite went down, and he had to go. He was like, "Listen, the sea is calling to me, and I'm a merchant, and I'm off." Not quite so cruelly, okay, but like basically. But in the meantime, she was pregnant with twins, which was me. But I don't know that. Oh no, wait, I don't know that. I spoiled my own story. Anyway, she got pregnant with me, and my dad was like, yeah. So he made an agreement with some folks and took me, and my mom was protected, and she kept my sister, but I never knew that. And then I found out because my dad died, and when he got hung up by the British, get it, hung up, I scampered off with his ship and some ragtag crew that we'd traveled around with. And then, yeah, it is super fair to be tired of it. And then we made our way to the States, where I thought I found my sister, the lovely Scarlett, who turned out not to be my sister. And that's okay. So then I went off on a journey, and I found my real sister, Ruby, and I brought her back, and she was there at Tortuga, actually. That was her first immersion into the event. But now, since she's back, then there was this plague. So Rouge is like, I'm off. I'm a defender. I'm going to go find a cure for the plague. So she sails off to Siberia, or like somewhere in the northern Arctic, and falls off the face of the earth.
All right.
That's like a backstory and a future story all in one. Yeah.
Sure. So you're sending Rouge off to the cold northern lands. You're not offing her necessarily. She's still out there somewhere. Yeah, she's still out. Well, yeah, I mean supposedly, but she fell off the face of the earth, and then when that happened, Jasper popped up. Okay. So then Jasper came out, and Jasper's been raised by the Fae. So once Rouge fell off the face of the earth, the Fae, there was a contract in place, and that got broken. There's some fuzzy details there. Yeah, Ruby Cheeks. That's my sister's name, Ruby Cheeks. Fun fact that fuzzy details are my favorite kind of details, so go on. Well, yeah. And then, so then I popped up from the Fae, and I was like, well, the only way I would have come back to the earth is if I had family alive. So I realized that, and now I'm off in search of them. And the Fae, because they really want me to come back because, like, I'm awesome. No, I'm just kidding. It's because they've got a contract, but it got broken. They don't like being tricked. So they gave me a ship, and I sailed off, and now I'm going to find my way to Nassau, and I'm going to take up taking care of me niece, or nibbling, sorry. My child now is they, them, not she, her, which is big, awesome news. I'm very proud, yeah. So, they are my child, but they're not. They're my nibbling, my little niece few. Nibbling is one of my favorite, most adorable. Nibbling is like an uncomfortable word for me though, because I don't want you to put the child in your mouth. So like, I know there's historical context for it, but it's a bit weird for me. That's fine. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, she's lost at sea. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. You're the daughter of a I know. My mom, she comes to events sometimes. She's pretty amazing. You'll have to check her out, but don't ask her to sing though. She'll tell you a fancy tale. Oh, I like doing the accent, also the vodka, so I might just talk with this the rest of the time. I'm trying really hard to work on it because Irish is hard. Irish is hard. One of my bloodline's great weaknesses is that we are terrible at accents. I will tell you that right now. Like people have found that a fun way to win at drinking games with me is to establish a rule that requires accents, because I will lose unless
come
I'm
on.
drunk enough to.
Give it a go.
So,
try one. What's one that you're like kind of okay at? Like, can you do British?
No, I found from being in I can almost do a New York accent a little bit, but that's not a fun piratey one. So I really just
I mean, there was.
I did an event where.
I mean, there was a lot of Irish people in New York. Maybe they like fell in line. I don't know. Hustling that culture. That's like a little bit more ginger.
Let me finish another drink and we'll talk again about accents and maybe I can pull one off. But cheers.
I like doing accents. I mean, I love languages though. That's my whole thing. Although, for as much Irish as for as much Russian as I speak, I feel like my English speaking Russian accent, like if I use a Russian accent while speaking English, is totally mocking of Russian speakers. Like I sound like I'm with Russian, but
That's a hard line to draw between like an appreciation accent and sounding like you're trying to mock a culture, which it's not really the intention, but it's easy to feel like that's what you're doing, and that's not what. Obviously not, but it's
And I've definitely had some interesting reactions from people. Like, people get mad when they find out I'm not British, which I mean, like, I get it, but at the same time, I'm genuinely learning the accents and like the different dialects and all that stuff, and it's not like I'm trying to like one time I met someone in Wasteland who was English, and they never talked to me again, and I was like, I'm always really honest about my accent. If people ask me, I'm like, no, I'm not British, but I can't drop it in the middle of an event because it's like method acting. You can't stop.
But at events we're playing characters.
Yeah.
It's all I mean it's all a big stage we walk into and walk on site. It's a character.
I mean, like Rouge,
that's part of the fun of it.
We share similar attributes, but she's like way more competitive and way more brazen than I am sometimes. Also, way more suave. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not as suave in real life.
Yeah, and that's people hang out with me outside of events and they're like, you're not like I've met you at events, you're not shy. I'm like, Alphonse isn't shy. Alphonse will walk up and be boisterous and all that sort of stuff, but Alan is terrified of all of you and all of this, by the way. Alan has deathly stage fright. Alphonse somehow gets through it, and I admire him for that. But it's not a natural thing.
Like Beth and Bishon, you know what? One time he told me that he would tell me how to say. I'm gonna say their name because I don't know your actual gender and I don't want to assume.
What's that?
Bishon told me that they would tell me how to pronounce their name the next time I saw them, but I've never been able to see them, and I don't actually know if it's Bishon or Bishonen, and it's very. I'm like, Anyway,
based on my knowledge of Japanese, I would say Bishonen because Bishonen is basically Japanese for pretty boy. So I'm guessing that is only based on my knowledge of Japanese, not my knowledge of the gentleman himself.
Yeah.
I'm incorrect, but I know it as the Japanese slang for a very pretty male character in the anime world generally. So yes, okay. So I am correct.
Bishonen. Okay. I'm like, I know how to spell Bishon. So is it Bishonen? Okay.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
But again, that's not one of my problems. Is that my second language that I speak is Japanese.
Yeah.
And so I can't really do a Japanese accent in English without just sound like I'm doing a really bad mocking sort of thing.
Yeah. So
sounds silly.
The thing about like languages, I feel when you do an accent in English, you naturally, especially when you know the language, you naturally want to speak the English the way the native speaker would think it. Like they think in English differently than we do because their sentences are said differently. I'm learning, it's weird, but I'm learning Irish on Duolingo, and I just was talking to my sister and I was like, if you think about the Irish sentences the way they directly translate in English, it helps your accent a bit more. Because it teaches you how they would say it in English. You're going to get like a straight view of my apartment while I go get more vodka.
Fair.
my giant
Thankfully,
bottle.
I have all the things I need inside of my hot tub because I'm not getting out of this hot tub. It's a
That
storm
is
outside,
because then you don't have
and
to.
I'm hiding it.
I even brought this table. I should just set it. I should probably drink some water.
Yeah.
I'm not used to just having a glass of vodka. I didn't realize how easy it is to drink.
I've got an empty bottle of vodka nearby, but I don't think there's anything left in it. Let me check actually. Do I still have vodka? I still have vodka. Crap.
But yeah, I think that's for me that's half the fun of Pirates is like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, I've still a bottle apparently. Cheers to vodka. Get a little Portland potato vodka. I think Jade left this in my house.
New Amsterdam. Half the fun of it is like creating the persona behind it. Creating the, oh my god, don't fill the vodka with the hot tub with vodka, that would be tragic. You would die so
That's gotta be bad for you and pricey.
But yeah, like that depends on where you live. Like in Russia, I was able to buy vodka for really cheap. Yeah, I mean that's what we're doing, right? Is like living outside of our own skin. And there are plenty of people that don't want to do that, and that's totally cool too. Like you definitely don't have to have a complicated background story or anything. Right. You can just go and hang out. But I find that it's more engaging. Also, it does allow you to step outside of your skin, and that sometimes can provide more confidence or that extra edge you need to kind of, like, it can be intimidating to walk onto a ship you don't know and be like, permission to board, and talk to people you've never met that you have no idea about. So when you're wearing a role, it's easier to kind of be like, you don't know me. I don't even know me. What's up? Let's figure it out.
Yeah. It's nice now that they want you to come and do that. Like I can never be the sort of person who walk up to a random group at a bar and be like, "Hi, I'm Alan. Let me introduce myself into your group." And just I would never do that in a million years. But at a pirate event, you see a group of people, at a bar, and you can walk up to them and be like, "Oh, well, hi. Let me introduce myself." Like it's again, it's part of the game, which is I really miss. Be sure.
Yeah, me too. It's funny, but sometimes I think about it like when you play The Sims and you like level up your charisma or whatever. And that's it. I mean, it is though. It's something that kind of throws you outside of your normal zone. And it was a fundamental part in me actually becoming more confident in doing other things. Like in the last 5 years since starting doing Pirates, my life has also incrementally grown, and they're not necessarily correlated, but I think in some way they are. Like the confidence and strength of character, and even doing the competitions and games and stuff, like I learned, I can't take on the challenge and crush it. So like
isn't that neat that even though the pirate life and the real world life are still very separate, like you feel like you can take these traits you've kind of built up and grown in pirate events, like confidence, you can bring them into the real world a little bit at least. And it's a pretty cool thing.
I mean, so recently I applied to be on a board for an event group for this Young Professionals International thing. And I totally put on there that I've been working with the ROC, like, helping to do events and event planning, that I have experience with it. Why not? Like, it's totally transferable. I see. All of it really is. I mean, we laugh because there's memes and stuff that go around about the D&D resume that shows all of these skills, like interpersonal skills, conflict resolution, problem solving, like math.
Right.
But it's true. It's true. I mean, there's skills in everything we do. So.
Yeah, it makes me think of a funny story. About 3 years ago, I was a substitute paraeducator for a short period of time. And one of the days, there was a lot of call-outs the school was at, so I ended up basically being a substitute teacher for a chunk of time, which was way beyond my level of training. But then there was a terrific kids assembly, and they asked me, like, "Oh, we know you're just a para, but we need the teacher of the students to go up on stage and introduce their particular students. Are you comfortable with grabbing a microphone and walking up on stage in front of a couple hundred people?" And I'm like, a couple of years I wouldn't be comfortable with that, but now I've been in front of much bigger crowds than this with a microphone, so I can do this. I think I didn't want to tell him. I didn't want to say to what teachers like, oh yeah, I've hosted burlesque shows. This is nothing to me.
Yeah,
But
right. Yeah.
I don't have the stage fright I used to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big part of it. I mean, like, as a society, let's get really fundamental with it. As a society, we are taught that having confidence and that belief in yourself is something you want to repress. Because if you walk into a room and take all of the light, then people get frustrated or put out or whatever, and that doesn't help you get promoted in jobs, they say. You know, or you have to learn how to follow along or all of that, but why? You're not memorable that way. You don't stick out. I mean, but that does work for some people, and that's okay too. Like, we all have our own levels of it. But it's like, it shouldn't be looked down upon anymore for someone to be confident and be willing to be proud of their skills. Like, pride, I feel like, is connotated with such a negative emotion, but it's not ultimately a negative thing unless it becomes hubris, unless it becomes, you know, this like belief that you're better than the people around you. But I think being proud of your skills and proud of your accomplishments, proud of your wins or your challenges, is not a bad thing. It shows when you've grown, when you've accomplished new things, what else you've come from. Although for some of us, it's hard to shut up about it. So.
Yeah, that was a good point. So I definitely, I've definitely lived a lot of my life with that kind of like, I don't want to stick out because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be a sore thumb, that sort of thing. You know, I don't. It's kind of what it's that Japanese idiom they say from Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, where the I don't know if actually a Japanese idiom. I've just heard it in a movie loosely about Japan. The nailed sticks out gets hammered or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of left that mentality. I don't want to be the one who sticks out. I want to kind of, you know, do my part and stuff. But in pirating, I definitely try to stick out a little bit more. I don't think it's a bad thing, really.
Well, it's also a different culture. I mean, it's a different society there where, I mean, and it would have been in 1695, you know, it would have been a thing where you kind of had to stand out in order to get the money. Which it's not obviously money that we're reading in the game, but it's friends and it's experiences and it's opportunities. That's a good point that there's pride and there's narcissism. Like, there's a difference between the two. It's certainly like a double-edged blade. And it's also all about perception. Like, I feel like a lot of times when we feel like people are being narcissistic, there's also that desire to misunderstand their pride, because it's easier to take something at face value than to ask a hard question. Like, oh, you know, I mean, but then again, there's just people that do nothing but talk about themselves all the time.
Yeah.
But even then,
I think also,
I don't know, people, man. It's such a weird, like, soft science. It's like, it's so flexible in and out and backwards and upwards.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like the short nature of events, how you kind of have these 3 days to get out there, show yourself, prove yourself, and then be gone again. You have, I feel like you kind of either have to go big or go home. There's no kind of slow burn in the background so much. Like, if you, hello here, glad you found us. But yeah, if you really don't shine, I mean, then what's the point, you know?
Well,
as sad as it sounds, like, you have this short little weekend to get up there and show what you've got.
Yeah, but I think there is something too to being a person who doesn't have a natural light from within. I mean, like, I think let me rephrase that, because I personally think that everyone has a light that lives within them, even those that shine darkest in the night, like, totally have a light. But not everyone has the capacity or ability to, like, be within that spotlight, and that's okay too. It's mostly just that, like, sense that everyone has a role. Not like know your place, but that, like, everyone has a place in which they feel most comfortable, and that is really important. And we all change throughout that in so many different ways. I mean, like, I'm going to go back to Pirates, because, like, an example of which being in one weekend, even doing Defender of Nassau, it's like there was those moments where I was running and doing all of these games and, like, whoa, really, look at me, whoa, yeah, give me your voice, whoa, all of these things. And then it would be 4 o'clock in the morning and everyone would be asleep, and I would be walking around the grounds quietly enjoying the absolute last moments and the snores and the peace and the dying drums and the raising sun, and knowing that I was completely alone and yet completely immersed in a culture, you know.
Yeah,
so there's
absolutely.
positives and negatives to being both light and shadow, I think, and each
Yeah.
one is.
I love those super late nights where there's so few people left up, but you still get to wander around, kind of see who's still alive at that point. And I was going to meet some of the cooler people and some of the, you have some great times with that. I mean, that's when the Angry Mob started, was in the darkest hours of night. We had no idea what we were doing, but we stomped around and, you know.
You guys are going to get a momentary look into my life because I recently got a Fitbit, and it's wonderful, but it's telling me that in the last however long of us talking, I haven't moved enough, and so it's like yelling at me to get up and move my body. So this is me jogging in place really fast to get my heart rate up. It's so important. Anybody who's watching, if you haven't moved, get up, move your body. It's really good.
There's not far for me to move. I could do a lap around the hot tub.
Oh my God. I don't want you to run in place in the hot tub because you'll lose your feet, and then you'll just be a big splat, and then there'll be beer and hookah, and it'll be a hot tub everywhere. How many steps?
There we go. I just swam a lap.
I swam a lap. Hang on. The heart reader on this thing is so off, though.
I really, one thing I'm definitely looking to buy is a nice Fitbit type thing, yeah.
Just kidding. Give everybody a flash.
My legs are actually falling asleep under me.
Thank you for laughing. I appreciate it.
It's definitely entertaining, no.
Hang on, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I have no idea. More. Oh my God, 2 more. 1, 2. Oh, I made something fall over. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Fantastic.
Use for more vodka. Yes. Okay.
Yes. You've worked for that vodka.
Oh, hang on, it's beeping at me really hard. Look, it's got little. Ooh. Okay.
For a second, it looked like it said 666, which is a interesting omen.
It said 300. It said I hit 300 active minutes.
Well, cheers. I'll drink a little vodka with you to that. Cheers. Straight vodka is an interesting choice.
Patrick.
What happened to your Fitbit, Patrick? You had one at some point.
No, it's been years. Just like I miss mine. You gotta get it again. It's been interesting because the burlesque stuff, I miss it dearly.
Yeah.
I just haven't had time because of my career. Also,
I guess
I'm getting a federally investigated license. So I'm I have to be kind of careful until I get that license.
That's fair.
I just get to do a background and moral investigation check, which is really fun. That was a weird noise.
So any of those background checks, do they ask for aliases and you have to list pirate personas?
No, but I'm sure they'll look at my Facebook, which is fine. I have nothing to hide, and I'm sure they will ask about my burlesque, and I'll say, "What of it? It's my body. Right. It has nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with you. It's not of the government's interest."
Doesn't make me professional by any means. Fuck you think otherwise.
Well, I mean, even if whatever, it just is not of a concern. But yeah. So I miss burlesque, and I have always been very confident. Well, not always. I shouldn't say I've always been very confident in my body because I wasn't for a long time. As a kid, growing up chunky was one of the hardest things ever. But you come to a certain recognition with it, and doing burlesque was such a fundamental part of that. And sharing that with other people, and I've gotten such good feedback from others about that, raising confidence in themselves and awareness of themselves. So when now I'm doing healthier things in my life, I have this Fitbit, eating healthier, yada yada. I've always eaten fairly healthy, but now it's hi, I'm eating salad instead of bread, which I miss bread. It's not gone completely. Nothing's forbidden, but I
haven't exactly keto recently, but I've been doing a very low carb diet, and bread is I miss bread.
Yeah, it's just
I miss pizza.
Gluten does nothing but go into your body and turn starch, doesn't turn it into anything but sugar. And I just want to be healthy. Like I have a kid. I want to be healthy for them, and
Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. Like when I was running and doing Defender of Nassau, I was running up and down the Warfield, like lap after lap, and I was like, oh man, I can do this just fine. And then I was like, why don't I do this more?
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, came back
terrible.
from
Although
Pirate
sometimes
Adventure.
the doing the dance. Sorry, that was what? Alan?
Yeah. I always come back to Pirate Events just like my body beaten to hell. Like, man, did I just run around for 4 straight days? Like, yeah, I guess so. It's a workout.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you do the difference between like 10,000 steps a day and 45,000 steps. And you're like, oh, yeah. My legs and feet really feel that. It's always funny when you explain it to, people around you, or at least when we used to explain to people around us, like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going camping with 3,000 people dressed like pirates. And it's like a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
it's weird trying to explain that to people in like the job world. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to camping for this weekend. That's all it is. Just a camping trip, no big deal.
Yeah. I was pretty honest. I told them I did pirates. I actually told the firm I work for now, I told them when I interviewed, and they loved it. It was part of the reason they hired me, because they were like, they consider themselves the pirates of law, because we work in cannabis law. And it's funny. But so they've always been like, oh, are you going pirating? And I'm like, yeah. When I worked in seafood, of course, it was just so fitting. I was like, yeah.
I do love when people see this as kind of this novelty. Like, you're a pirate? Oh, you do pirate stuff? Yeah, it's not cool. I love when people say it's
sometimes
awesome.
It's hard to explain, because I also do Wasteland, which is the like Mad Max themed city that they build out in the middle of the Mojave, which is a whole different reality. It's also like 3,000 to 4,000 people strong, but it's very different. And it was a weird kind of clash of those communities to begin with, because at that point when I started Wasteland the year after I started Pirates, and when I started Pirates, it was the kind of last year of that completely tight knit, like really free feeling community. Which everything has seasons, right? So the last couple of years we've had a slope season, I feel like, in Pirates, and then there's been this break. Like you were saying, people are ready for kind of a down year. It happens. There's a cycle to everything. And then it hopefully it'll be on an upstroke. But so I was in that upswing of Pirates when I went to Wasteland. So the first year I went, I was kind of like, is this for me? And then I went back and was like, oh, okay. And I went back again. I was like, oh, okay. And then I couldn't go last year because of work, unfortunately, because then this year was canceled. So.
Bummer.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Wasteland, I'd love to check out. So I've kind of fallen in just the niche of just doing pirate stuff. I'd like to branch out a little more at some point. Like,
yeah, Wasteland is great.
I tried Dystopia Rising one year, but it was a bit too structured for me, I think. Like, I kind of just want to just hang. I'm not sure I want to role play all weekend so much as I want to just go and hang out with people.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan Atwood. Well, sorry, I should use your as names. I should use your damn pirate name. Only Jasper doesn't know who you are yet, so whatever. So Colin does something different. He does Afterworld, which is a Wasteland-based RPG in the forest. Wasteland itself is based off of Mad Max and is a literal city of 3,000 to 4,000 people that gets built once a year out in the middle of the Mojave in a relatively secret area. And it's a whole different world. I actually really want to do Afterworlds. I think it would be really fun, and it would be a different take on the apocalypse because it's in the forest. And there's a lot different resources available to you in the forest than there is in the desert. But man, it's a trip either way. I've fought in the Thunderdome, which is really fun.
That's awesome sounding,
yeah.
So we're getting to the end of an hour now. I want to ask you one last big question you can elaborate on for as long as you like. But I've just been thinking about this. If you could only have one event next year, would you prefer a big 3,000 person event or like a 1 to 200 person event? Which do you think you'd rather have if you only got one?
I would rather have a smaller event. And then for a few reasons. Because I have concerns about how, like I mentioned earlier, like everyone is going to be so excited to go to an event, and they're going to be really no holds barred, and they're going to be really just all out. And I feel it's really important to include everyone in whatever event occurs, because like I said, there are a lot of smalls that like this is really important to them too, and they deserve that opportunity. And I worry about like if there's too many people, there will be so much recklessness, because that much a certain amount of mayhem is inevitable in an event over 1,000 people, over like 500 people. But it exponentially grows, I feel like, as you pass those increments of like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And it's not that it can't be done, and it's not that people can't be respectful, but also we would be so exhausted. There would be like no time to sit and talk to people, because you'd want to see everyone and do everything. And it's like, I have 17 ships I need to visit today. Otherwise, I won't have time to visit the 17 tomorrow. And there's 762 people that I want to give a hug to, but my arms are going to be so tired from lifting. Like, you might as well wear wings. You're going to be like Goku at the end. Like,
in the middle of the summer, we were kind of talking. There were still plans of Tortuga still happening, because we were kind of thinking like, oh, things are gonna die down by then. So we were still kind of planning on Tortuga still being like the first event come back to, and there was kind of this hesitation, like, do we really want the first event after the flag to be the no holds barred, adults only, everybody goes crazy event? People are gonna be too damn crazy.
Right, and that's what I worry about, you know. And like last year, there was talk about making Tortuga just for that year family friendly. And I imagine because the reality is, if we look at the reality of vaccinations, we won't have herd immunity until July, August.
Right.
And that means if we have an event, there will be one, and it will be the end of the year, and it will have been 2 years since we've had an event, and people are going to be chomping at the bit to be insane. And the truth is that, as much as I love all of you assholes, you're too effing crazy. And it's going to go bad if it's not small. And I want to see 3,000 people, and I want everyone to have an opportunity. And I want there to be 17 events all simultaneously held within neighboring campgrounds so that we can all see each other. But do I think it's going to be a reality? No. Do I think it would be safe? No. Do I think that people could be that controlled? Probably not. We LARP as pirates for a reason, and people are gonna be like, we don't LARP, but like, come on, we LARP. And
I get that.
I think that we, like you said, what does normal now mean? How do we crawl back to that? Because also, even at that size, there was a lot of issues. And I think that rebuilding from a foundation is not a horrible thing. And
a restart's not a bad thing.
And I don't necessarily think everybody will come back at once, because we are a community of immunocompromised and alternate like lifestyles. We just are. So there is a certain like group of our whole community that wouldn't even be able to do that. And that's also a consideration. At a 300-person event, maybe those people could attend. At a 3,000-person event, there's still too much concern about their safety and health. And it's like, it's kind of excluding in that sense. I mean, that's such a tough question, but like, honestly, if I had my choice, it would be a small event, and it would be probably in the valley somewhere. Like, I know that spot outside of Raymond is difficult, but I love it so much.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Another issue that we talked about, but like Bishona was saying a minute ago, it's going to be impossible to make it small, because even if say the first event is like Pirates Plunder, which is normally a 150, like a 200-person event, as soon as everybody hears that's the first chance to go pirate, everybody's going to be they'll be making sure they take time off of that. They'll make sure that everybody's going to want to come back to that. So everybody's going to be rushing to hit that first event. It's going to be a bit rough.
I will say that thankfully the ROC is a bit of a smart community, and not all of the Pacific Northwest Pirates know about their events.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whatever.
But yeah,
no, I mean,
I think people will hear about it and they'll be like, oh shit, it's something I wouldn't normally go to, but I have to go to this because it's their turn to pirating. So
that's the thing about having a cap, is that it's like you're capped. I don't know. Like, I wish everybody could go, but there's a fine balance between what's safe and what's not. And I think that the way to start will be for people to start camping with their ships when we can start having 10 plus groups, together. I want to do that. I mean, we're going to start recruiting, which, like, that's a little aside. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I haven't really bashed out the details yet, but, like, I'm looking for recruits. So,
you've got people watching, so Kylea, if you're looking for a glorious new ship to join.
Yeah, I will help you build your character background. I'm not actually kidding.
I don't know what the recruitment process is like, but
we want you to, apprentice for a year, but right now, what the hell does that even look like? So once I move to Portland, it will be different. This has been so fun.
This has been great, right? Yeah, we have felines who are on their 1 year probationary period during this pandemic, which is the saddest thing ever.
Yeah.
So it's hard to bring the people in right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. Yeah, and I mean, like, oh, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I could just keep talking forever, Admiral Alphonse. So, like, just it'll be fine. We'll be fine. I think the vodka's fine. Yeah. Kind of a ship, like, oh, Beth, you're shipless, are you? Well, you should message me. We're gonna be. Well, my ship was raised by the fairies from the bottom of the sea, so that should tell you something, okay? But, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Initiate yours.
Right. You might need to talk to Beth. She might be looking for a lovely crew to join.
I know. I miss everybody. I miss the nation. I miss everybody. I miss dancing. I miss laughing long hours into the night. I was
sitting. Yeah. Absolutely. I was sitting there the other day and I realized that, man, the first time I get back up to a physical stage and get to announce all my performers in person, like I'm gonna be tearing up. Like I'm like hearing people in front of me cheering for our performances in person is going to
the dancers. Yeah. I mean, there's gonna be a tear or two shed by dancers as well, because it's I mean, when you get up on that stage, okay, so for me personally, when I get up on that stage and that music hits, like, I could be totally, I don't shake in my boots until like a song or two before, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm so nervous. And then message me, I see you. And then I hear the music start for my song and I'm like, nope, all business. And then I do the song and then you get off stage and you're just like, oh, I did it. So it'll be, I mean, it's just gonna be so much emotion packed into one thing, because how is it not? Like, dancing for the nation is such a different experience. Because I've danced in Seattle for downtown, and I've danced regular burlesque shows, and it's not the same. Dancing for pirates is so much more loving, and you know that crowd is there because they support you and they love you, and some of them want you, but that's not the point. It's not the point. I know that when you dance at a club, that is more the point. Like, I know that sounds weird. We can have a whole other.
No, it's so a tiny piece of a tiny piece of backstory from the felines. I mean, the felines show was really started because pirates had kind of gotten a bad name in the Seattle burlesque scene because of some bad experiences, and we wanted to make this show for pirates by pirates that could be very accepting of burlesque performers, and it went off amazingly. And we've had like just people who only do like professional burlesque come perform for us, and they're just like, holy shit, we can do whatever we want, and the crowd loves us. Like, we can bring acts that aren't Scandal from Bohemia, so it's like she can bring acts that she doesn't think would go over as well. And pirates actually are so accepting and loving, and it's incredible, and I love we can say that.
One of the favorite pieces I have ever done was my nerd piece that I did at Norwestcon a few years back, and it was like, get nerdy with me. And I had so many props. That was, I mean, I couldn't have done it anywhere else except for in that tiny room with 30 people, you know, like.
We all loved it. It was incredible. I remember that act. It was so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well,
no, I'm 100% certain, like, the first time I get on stage in front of whatever 100, 200 people, we get packed into that feline area during the sow. Yeah, and the first time I yell, like, welcome to the Feisty Felines Burlesque and Variety, and I hear people just let loose and scream. I am going to tear up so fucking hard. Like, I'm going to ugly cry on stage.
Notice I say we because I instantly assume that I'll be dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
oh, I'm yeah. I mean, I'm not pressuring you, but I sure as fuck hope you're gonna be there whenever we get a show going again. Because
when we're finally live, I will 100% be there. 100%.
Good.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. I cannot wait.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah. No, it's giving me goosebumps thinking about it, to be honest.
Help me. Aw, that's so sweet. Okay, cheers. To goosebumps.
Cheers. Yeah.
Taking my booty.
The goosebumps to the stage. I miss it. I couldn't be on stage anywhere other than for Pirates. Like, that is, yeah. All right, but yeah, on that lovely goosebumpy note, we've hit just a little over our hour quota, so let's go ahead and start calling it a night. Rouge, Kylea, Jasper,
Whoever,
all the personas.
Whatever I am. Whatever I am.
Whatever the fuck you feel like being for the moment. So, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was fan-fucking-tastic. You are a wonderful guest.
Thanks for having me.
I cannot wait. Someday, the goal is I want people in the hot tub here with me doing this.
Right.
Because that's the goal.
That'll be our recap.
This video form.
Post-2020 video recap. What's changed?
Absolutely.
Since the first meeting.
Yeah. No, this split screen video format works. It's fucking beautiful, but I want you here drinking and sharing hookah with me next time, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna be able to cheers glasses with you and share that hookah.
Absolutely. It's really sad being the only one who gets to smoke the hookah. That's just it's a social activity, and I'm smoking hookah by myself.
Misses you. I'm just throwing that out there because.
Oh, thank you. No.
Also, be shonen. Like, I want to see you dance. What?
Dude, be sure to keep in mind we do audience participation games. So one day you may very well be on our stage. So someday, all right?
So, like, for those people that don't ever, if you do VIP, I really like audience interaction. I'm a big fan.
Pay for a VIP.
I've laid on many a lap.
Yeah, seriously, be sure to come to a show and then say, buy a VIP seat for like $10, and then sit there and say, hey, Alphonse, remember you said you were gonna get me on your stage, and I'll fucking get you up there, all right? I guarantee if you remind me and bug me about it, I'll get you on our stage, okay? I love, like, our audience participation acts. I mean, as fan-fucking-tastic as our performers are, the audience participation is sometimes some of the most fun parts of our show, like, honestly.
I agree. I actually think, okay, really fast, and aside, I know we're trying to end
go on.
I think that when we eventually have events, I think it would be really fun to do a collaborative beginner burlesque class / performance.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe we should have some conversations.
Absolutely, that'd be a great thing. We do. I mean, we can even do like. I mean, it's a rude term to say, but I'd love to do like an amateur night, like feline show, where we just bring on people who aren't performers, but want to just get on stage and try something out. Like, that'd be fantastic, right? Like,
but I think that we should do like a class beforehand so that people can get like basics, so that they can build a little confidence, and then like at the end of the weekend they get to do a little amateur night / open mic thing.
That would be fantastic. I'd love to talk about that. That'd be so much fun.
Let's do it.
But anyways, Kylea, I know. I know Danny's gonna be. I promised Danny she'd just come over here. So I need you, Danny, and Cameron, a couple of us. Once we can have more than 5 people over around the fire pit, we will catch up, share drinks.
You may have a heart because I only
beautiful thing. There's my heart. Yeah.
Wait. Do the other hand, and then we can match. No, we're gonna do the other hand. That's the same.
I only have so many hands.
That's the.
Matching hearts, yeah, it kind of works. All right. But yes, Kylea, thank you so much for tonight. I'm going to let you go now.
Okay.
You are a wonderful guest.
Thank
like
you.
I said, I promise once we get in person, you will be a return guest because it's absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
I'm
Also,
gonna
you
go
can
and let you go.
cover the king and queen, and it's gonna be all laughs all around. I'm just saying.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you
Okay.
so very much. Everybody say goodbye to Rouge.
Bye,
Bye to
guys.
Kylea. Bye to Jasper.
Hey, I'll say it with all my accents. I'll be like, bye, as Rouge. I'll be like, bye.
Say bye with every accent. Yes.
Wait, fuck.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. That was another night of Hottubs and Hookahs. The lovely Kylea is absolutely fantastic. Within the next couple days, I'll be putting this up onto YouTube, followed by Spotify, if you want to listen to the audio. It is hilarious to know that this is officially a podcast now, as amateur and adorably delightful and silly of a podcast as it is. So those of you who came in late and didn't catch it, again, check on my page. I'll be posting the YouTube and the Spotify. Thank you guys so much. I'm Admiral Alphonse. This is another absolute delight. Good night, everybody.